the weight part of it. What did you think when he said that?
I just felt like he was scared. I don't even come in at 25 pounds. I come in 17, but that, you know, that's the standard.
Yeah.
But what does it matter, bro? It's that I'm undisciplined, that I come in 25 pounds. Like, he always has a fucking, like, an excuse.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation because, you know, they're gonna, after the fight, they're gonna talk because of this.
World Boxing Council interim super lightweight champion David Benavidez has reacted to Canelo Alvarez's claims that a bout between them is a lose-lose fight. This time, he was neither apologetic nor reluctant in poking his hands right in the eye of the undisputed champion's eye, correcting his call for a lose-lose and claiming it would be a loss for Alvarez, not a lose-lose.
And to be honest with you, when I heard that number, 150, 200 million, bro, not even Mayweather and Pacquiao got that.
Yeah.
What that sounds like to me, is he's getting ready for retirement. That's what it sounds like to me.
The kickoff to the build-up to the Battle of Mexico doesn't get any better than this. Let's dive right in.
He brings nothing to the table for me. He brings just 25 pounds more in the night. The fight on the night. That's it. I don't need to fight anybody. I don't need to prove anybody.
Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez have a rivalry that spanned years. And with them, you have one of the most anticipated matches in recent boxing history that is yet to happen. To fans and professionals of boxing, the bout between the two champions is like that visitor that keeps disappointing each time they promise you a visit. Days, weeks, months, and even years have passed, yet fans are yet to receive the rare gift of a matchup between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. The boxing public has been calling for Alvarez to fight Benavidez, especially since the 4-division champion has beaten everyone he's faced during his 168-pound run beginning in 2020, which has included the likes of Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, Gennady Golovkin, John Ryder, and Jermell Charlo. At this point, no opponent of Canelo Alvarez in boxing would have as much anticipatory effects as David Benavidez on fans. However, like he would do to punches from his opponents, Canelo Alvarez has been accused of evading the bout against David Benavidez. But many have questioned the rationality of these claims, seeing the surreal boxing record of Canelo Alvarez. All through his career, Canelo Alvarez has garnered 60 wins, 2 defeats, and 2 draws in 64 bouts, with 39 knockout victories. As a result of this mind-blowing feat, many feel it's ridiculous to deem Alvarez fearful of David Benavidez, who, though remains unbeaten, can only boast of 28 wins in 28 bouts, having 24 knockout victories alongside. Truly, Benavidez is worth the hype he gets against his prospective opponent, as he holds the record as the youngest super middleweight title holder in history at 20 years, 8 months, 3 weeks, and 1 day old. And for every time he's lost a belt, he's only done so for reasons beyond fighting.
For throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight, you know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo, to be honest with you, but
the closest comparison of the highly anticipated bout between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez is the Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain remains one of the most anticipated bouts in the history of heavyweight boxing between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. However, the Battle of Britain seems to have reached a stable conclusion. While it relies heavily on Tyson Fury's victory over Alexander Usyk, it is quite certain and highly predictable that should Tyson Fury pass the test against the Ukrainian unified champion, the world would have the Battle of Britain right before our very eyes. 2 British heavyweight boxers who have at different times in recent history held the unified heavyweight title, fighting it out to see who emerges the undisputed world heavyweight champion. However, while the Battle of Britain has reached a more feasible agreement, the Battle of Mexico has been threatened by several decisions and circumstances in recent times. Well, it's called the Battle of Mexico because both fighters have Mexican origins. While Benavidez is a citizen of the United States by birth, he was also born to a Mexican father and an Ecuadorian mother. This exactly was one of the main reasons why it was speculated that the fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez would never happen, as Alvarez had earlier declared his decision never to fight Mexican boxers.
When I say I don't want to fight Mexican, it's because I represent Mexico. And that's why. But I don't care. I fight anybody. And I fight all my entire life, anybody.
Once, Canelo Alvarez said he would not be interested in fighting unbeaten former super middleweight champion Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. And he won't be swayed even if Ramirez defeats unbeaten World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol, who previously took down Alvarez. He said, "If it's Zurdo, I don't want to fight with Mexicans. I represent Mexico. I think Zurdo has a chance to win against Bivol, and I want him to win," Alvarez said at his media day in San Diego. Boxing's former pound-for-pound king spent his formative years fighting a slew of his countrymen while building his career as an immensely popular television fighter in Mexico. The four-division champion most recently entered the ring against a Mexican in 2017, routing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by unanimous decision. Since then, he's fought Eastern Europeans, including long-reigning middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin. However, after his win over Golovkin, he was repeatedly probed and poked by the media with the same question regarding his decision not to fight Mexicans staring at him each time. He felt a little agitated and said, "Guys, always I say this, you show that video and put whatever you any. When I say I don't want to fight Mexicans, bits because I represent Mexico and that's why, but I don't care. I'll fight anybody, and I fight anybody my entire life. What do you think? I don't want to fight with one Mexican, Benavidez," he added. "But look, I hear his dad talking about a lot of stuff. Look, he's accomplished nothing. One single champion, Anthony Durrell. Please, don't disrespect myself, please, guys." With this, the heaviest threat against the bout was taken away. After years of saying he wouldn't fight a fellow Mexican, Alvarez has finally changed his mind. And he even credited Munguia's respect as one of the reasons that helped him earn the fight, something the outspoken Mexican-American Benavidez has not shown. However, negotiations for a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez have become a weighty issue. Alvarez is the undisputed king of the super middleweight division, and he will defend his crown once more against Jamie Munguia in an all-Mexican Cinco de Mayo weekend showdown in Las Vegas on May 4th. Munguia is certainly an appealing opponent who will help make the fight a blockbuster success, but he superseded Benavidez, Alvarez's mandatory WBC challenger who's been patiently waiting in the wings for several years for his well-deserved opportunity.
Were you surprised when Canelo said the 150, 200, or?
It doesn't surprise me, bro. He's a pussy. So what do you think?
Everybody say the same thing before I fought with Golovkin. Oh, he's a monster. He's gonna knock out Canelo. He's this and that. At the end of the day, he's not the same.
Offers at $55 million have been made to entertain Alvarez with a Benavidez bout beginning in 2022. And Benavidez has recently claimed to accept $5 million in return for the occasion. But dealmakers have not been able to whet the appetite of Alvarez. In recent weeks, Alvarez, the fifth highest paid athlete in the world, according to Forbes, has been purely big business minded, indicating that it would take between $150 to $200 million to entertain the idea of fighting Benavidez, and that his rival brings nothing to the table outside of 25 extra pounds on fight night. The tale of the tape for a tilt between Alvarez and Benavidez favors Benavidez, who is 6 years younger, 6 inches taller, possesses 4 inches of longer reach, and is naturally the bigger and faster fighter who appears more explosive. To curb the 33-year-old Alvarez's concerns, it was recently shared that Benavidez is open to a rehydration clause in the contract.
I have no problem with that, but fuck that. He's getting if that happens, he's getting $200 million. Then he got to fill the 25 extra pounds they saying I weigh in.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. 150, 200 million. You're still gonna put a rehydration.
Alvarez does not see any benefit in bullying Benavidez with weight stipulations. Yeah, a rehydration clause is a lose-lose situation because, after the fight, they are going to say, it was because of this, and then what? And then what? Then you're going to talk about that clause. When I beat him, they are going to say it was because of the clause. Nothing to do with that fight, Alvarez said in an interview from his training camp home near Lake Tahoe, California. Much like Ryan Garcia pointed to his 136-pound catch weight and 10-pound rehydration clause as the main reason for getting knocked out by Gervonta Davis, Alvarez believes a similar narrative will be structured should he outlast Benavidez. Alvarez is definitely no stranger to weight clauses in big-time fights. When the still green Alvarez fought and suffered his first career loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr. in 2013, Alvarez was the World Boxing Council and World Boxing Association 154-pound champion at the time, but had to fight at a 152-pound catch weight. Mayweather forced the clause after originally requesting the fight to take place at 147 pounds and 150 pounds before settling at 152 pounds. Alvarez weighed 165 pounds on the night of the fight, while Mayweather weighed in at 150.5 pounds and fought at 150 pounds. Alvarez has since gone on to become a 4-division world champion, beating every who's who of boxing's best along the way. He's even considered a cruiserweight run, but the heaviest Alvarez has fought is twice at 175 pounds. The Guadalajara native knocked out Sergey Kovalev in 2019 to score a light heavyweight title, but he suffered a unanimous decision loss to Dmitry Bivol in 2022. Alvarez said he's considering another run at 175 pounds to face the winner of the June 1st fight between Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, potentially in Saudi Arabia, the oil-rich country looking for big-time bouts in exchange for the bank-breaking paydays Alvarez is increasingly interested in. There is always the possibility of having a rematch with Dmitry Bivol. Why not? That fight, I would love to have that fight, said Alvarez. I'm just focused on this fight right now with Munguia. I'm fighting. But you know, if there is something interesting for me at 175 pounds, why not?
That's not my fans. That's my critics. So that's a difference. And they always have something to say about me. When it's Golovkin, when it's Lara, when it's Cotto, when it's now it's Benavidez.
Munguia earned the Alvarez opportunity after just 2 fights in the weight class, most recently knocking out Ryder in January, something Alvarez couldn't accomplish last May. Benavidez, meanwhile, is a 2-time 168-pound title holder who's lost his belts for faults outside of the ring and has fought in the weight class his entire 11-year career. After a banner 2023 campaign beating Demetrius Andrade and Plant, the Mexican monster is now getting ready to make his 175-pound debut this summer against Alvarez's former sparring partner and former light heavyweight title holder, Oleksandr Gvozdyk. With Benavidez being the most credible and lucrative option left at 168 pounds, observers are claiming Alvarez is avoiding Benavidez, especially after he floated the $200 million figure. You know, I fought with any fighter and I won good money, and so I can do whatever I want at this time, said Alvarez. I deserve it because I did everything in my career, and I deserve to be in this position. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Although Benavidez's next fight is at 175 pounds, he has intentions to move back down to 168 pounds. Benavidez is seemingly stuck chasing Alvarez's shadow every step of the way as he further validates his standing with each passing fight. And in his response to detractors who deem he is ducking and dodging the hard-charging Benavidez, Alvarez said, "Those are not my fans, those are my critics. And they always have something to say about me," said Alvarez. It was previously Gennady Golovkin, it was Miguel Cotto, and now it's Benavidez. If you see my resume, I fought with everybody. So I don't have anything to say to those people because they are never going to understand that. Because they see, but they don't want to understand. So I'm happy with what I am doing, and I am still going to do it. Shockingly, Benavidez has sent Canelo a shocking response for calling their fight a lose-lose. When asked about his comments on Canelo's statements regarding their fight, calling it a lose-lose, he mercilessly and brutally ridiculed Canelo, calling him the coward he had called him some days earlier. This time, he wasn't ready to apologize for any misdeed. He was instantly ready to drag the fight with Canelo from the ring to a brawl in an interview session, only that Canelo wasn't present. It's a loss only for him. He knows he'll lose, but he shouldn't speak for me. He should fix the clause and watch me beat him. Tell the coward to make no excuses for me. Benavidez seems to have had enough of Canelo excesses and is set to unleash loads of verbal explosives on the undisputed champion. Well, he has done that to a great extent and is even set to do more. Despite being the mandatory challenger, Canelo has imposed an extravagant condition for acceptance, demanding a staggering $150 to $200 million for the bout against Red Flag. During a conversation with news sources, Canelo justified his demand by asserting that, given his accomplishments in his career, he no longer feels the need to prove himself against anyone. I would only consider fighting him if a promoter were to offer me $150 or $200 million, stated Canelo in an interview. He was also quick to emphasize that he has yet to receive such an offer. In response to Canelo's demand, David Benavidez swiftly took to Instagram, delivering a straightforward message in both English and Spanish. He questioned the exorbitant sum requested by Canelo for a bout against someone he deemed as having no value, expressing a hope that the money would somehow contribute to Canelo finding worth. Canelo, if I'm worthless, why demand 150, 200 million to fight me? Hopefully, after you earn that money, you'll have enough left over to buy a few balls, posted the Mexican Monster. But Benavidez wasn't content with his Instagram trolls. He wasn't hesitant to take his shots far beyond the shores of Instagram, firing more shots at Canelo Alvarez when he appeared on a podcast. Appearing on the Fresh and Fit podcast, Benavidez talked about many things and minced no words when it came to the topic of Canelo. I've been in the military for 3 years. That never happens. I just want to give the best fights to the fans. Canelo is with all that bull's **T. He needs to be respectful. I'm not gonna bow my knee to nobody. The only reason this fight isn't happening is because he wants 150, 200 million, which is absurd. That's telling me that he's scared. Benavidez called out Alvarez for being a hypocrite about not fighting a Mexican for his next fight, then turning around and agreeing to a bout with Jaime Munguia. He thinks Canelo is losing a lot of respect with his compatriots and the boxing industry. He believed Canelo was nearing retirement and that he just wants to collect his money while he can, while avoiding the dangerous Benavidez. And as a result, he was willing to go on and on, making many wonder how fierce and intense their buildup would be if there was this much heat between them without a fight yet. On another occasion, when savoring his victory after blowing away fellow American Andrade in 6 rounds in Las Vegas to win the interim WBC title and extend his unbeaten record to 28 bouts, Benavidez didn't miss the opportunity to call out Canelo Alvarez. I solidified myself as the dominant performer I am. Just give me the fight that we all want to see. Benavidez said, who wants to see me versus Canelo? I'm going to be the super middleweight champion of the world, a 3-time world champion. Sadly, in the heat of his jests and insults at Canelo Alvarez, the most recent development has seen Benavidez embarrass himself publicly. Undoubtedly, this would bring so much joy to Canelo Alvarez, who has been showing himself as the more mature fighter. Well, Canelo's maturity can be placed on one factor. He's done it all and he's quite different and reluctant regarding the bout against Benavidez. Canelo has fought the best of the best fighters, and fighting a little undefeated champ who's got less than 30 bouts under his belts seems pointless to him. However, it's Benavidez who has everything to prove. He's the one who feels a win against Saul Canelo Alvarez would be the final ink needed to write his name in history books as one of boxing's greatest ever. But beyond the recognition Benavidez aims at, a win against Canelo makes him the undisputed super middleweight champion. These accolades are what anyone but Canelo Alvarez would kill for, and that's because he's gotten them already. Benavidez is the young champ caught up in the overzealousness of wanting to face Alvarez, and it's exactly why he found himself in an embarrassing situation recently. Benavidez was having another moment of trolls and insults for Canelo Alvarez as he was caught drunk in an interview. It was not just Benavidez's comments where he was calling Canelo a coward that brought him the heat, but the fact that he was caught drunk in an interview. In the high-stakes world of professional boxing, where the drama outside the ring often rivals the action within, David Benavidez's recent remarks about Saul Canelo Alvarez stirred up more than just media frenzy. However, the aftermath revealed a side of Benavidez that many might not have expected. The boxer took to social media after insulting Canelo in a sobering moment of reflection, and the American fighter issued an apology via social media, attributing his harsh words to an overindulgence in alcohol. This episode not only showcased the personal struggles and pressures faced by fighters, but also emphasizes the respect underlying even the fiercest of rivalry.
We would have to see. I think I want to fight Canelo, just to prove myself that I'm the best at 168. But if he doesn't want to fight, then of course that's the route we'll go. I've been mandatory for the past 2 fights, so.
Benavidez, known as El Bandera Roja, did not shy away from owning up to his mistake, demonstrating a level of maturity and responsibility that resonates well beyond the confines of the ring. I just want to take this time to apologize to all my fans and to the people that saw me last night drunk. I had one too many drinks and made a complete fool of myself, SMH. This will never happen ever again. He posted on Instagram. His apology to fans and the public acknowledged the influence and impact these athletes have, highlighting the importance of maintaining professionalism even in moments of personal lapse. But fans weren't forgiving of his lapse. He received criticisms from both supporters and professionals alike. Even though the Phoenix, Arizona native issued an apology the very next day on social media through an Instagram story, professionals like Timothy Bradley couldn't help but express his disdain for Benavidez's actions. In addition, the retired boxer even spoke about Benavidez wanting to fight Canelo Alvarez, suggesting the former wouldn't defeat him. Speaking on Pro Box TV's Deep Waters, Bradley stated, "Watching him put his career out there like that, in the public eye, if you want to get plastered, if you want to drink, that's something you do at home." Bradley warned Benavidez, claiming that he shouldn't do such things on the night of a fight while people are constantly recording you, kids are around, you've got many fans watching that. However, turning to Benavidez's apology on social media, Bradley said, "The apology showed maturity. He was embarrassed. I think he's going to make better decisions." Bradley even highlighted that Benavidez is in camp for his next fight against Ukraine's Oleksandr Gvozdyk sometime in June. "You don't drink during camp. That's a no-no. Alcohol doesn't blend well with training. All the work, you've got to be clean," said Bradley. Later in the interview, Bradley spoke about Benavidez wanting to face Canelo Alvarez and how people have hailed the unbeaten boxer as the ultimate challenge for Canelo. Bradley said, "We're talking about Benavidez like he's some gangster, like he's supposed to dominate Canelo. I don't think so. Benavidez, didn't he walk away from an opportunity to face David Morrell? If he's that damn bad, he would have taken that fight." If there's something that differentiates boxing from other sports, it's the fact that to a very large extent, you get to choose your opponents. Truly, many other sports do not have the luxury of this, and while boxing does, it sometimes kills the anticipation of fans. The Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez is one fight that fans have anticipated for years, and the greatest gift these two Mexicans can jointly give boxing fans is neither their belts do not accolade, but a battle against each other in the ring. Do you think this match would eventually happen one day? Let's know your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly react by clicking the like button below. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get alerted when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.